Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here I have a 2025 Jeep Compass. So we'll look at the trim levels, some of the updates for 25, interior, exterior, and then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. All right, so now we're behind the wheel of the 25 Jeep Compass, and again, this is the limited high altitude trim. So this is gonna be pretty much top tier when you're looking at the Compass, and there's a lot of pretty cool stuff for 25. So a few things to note for the 2025 model, they've actually only gone down to 5 different trim levels now. So they've gone away from the Latitude Luxe trim level. So they just kind of figured that wasn't the most popular trim, so they kind of narrowed it out and made it a little bit easier. Now MSRP is gonna start around $27,500 and go up to about $39,000. So being that this one's fully loaded in the top tier, you're looking more towards that price range, but just know there is pretty much a price to fit most people's budgets. Now, why do I have my phone in here? That's because I have wireless Apple CarPlay as well as wireless Android Auto in this particular trim level. The standard, I think it's an 8.4-inch display, then goes to the 10.1-inch display. The Uconnect system is one of my favorite out right now. It is so convenient, easy to use, it's very responsive, there's pretty much zero lag in the screen, which I really like. So we'll touch on that stuff a little bit more, but for now, let's put it in drive, go for a spin around. So all of the Jeep Compasses are going to come with a 2-liter turbocharged engine. It's going to give you about 200 horsepower, and it's going to get 32 mpg on the highway. So that's pretty awesome fuel economy considering this is a 4x4 model. Now what's great, obviously it's snowy, it's cold today, so with that 4x4 system, you know it's gonna help you out. It is great. It's been a little icy, a little slippery today. This thing hasn't skipped a beat. It's very easy to drive out on the road, and I love that even if you just need that peace of mind wherever you live, maybe it's in the Midwest or out east, if it's raining, snowing, any of that stuff can certainly help you out when you're behind the wheel. Now there's also a ton of safety built into these vehicles as well. Things like blind spot monitoring, emergency braking. This one's got an awesome backup camera in that Uconnect system that is crystal clear. And this one also has rear parking sensors. But one of my favorite features is the adaptive cruise control. If you're doing cabin trips, spending a lot of time on the highway, or just even day-to-day use, you set 4, 3, 2, 1 car length distance ahead of you. It's gonna keep that distance when you're on the road. It makes it very easy to eat up a lot of miles. Now, what about the ride and drive? So obviously I've been driving around this morning a little bit. It's nice, it's quiet, it's comfortable, it's easy. 200 horsepower is more than enough to have a trade-off of, yes, you have that turbo, so the power is there when you need it. But again, 32 mpg is pretty good out of a vehicle of this size. Now on the exterior, for 25, they did add a color that's supposed to come later down the line. I think it's called Juice, and we haven't seen it yet, but I think it's gonna be sort of an orange color to go with the Mojito, that I think is gonna go on the Wranglers as well. So there might be some new colors, but for the most part, white is gonna be the base, and then the rest of the colors are gonna be premium options. But I like the style and design. This one gets the kind of titanium colored gray wheels outside. It looks really nice with the black. This one also gets the black and kind of gray badging that runs around the vehicle and sort of that same trim up in the grille. Now this one will also get the LED daytime running lights, which do add a pretty aggressive and good design to the front of this vehicle. Now, as I'm driving around, I've got my lane departure warning system going. So it's kind of a driver mitigation system. So I can see on one side, I've got the green line. It can see the line here. If you start to sway out of that line, you can feel it almost kind of push you back. So if you're a little bit drowsy, maybe not paying attention, turn around to say something, that is a pretty great safety feature as well. Inside the vehicle, it's quiet, it's comfortable, it's very easy to drive. You could throw the keys to anyone and it's not going to be overcomplicated. The dual climate control has buttons not only on here, but you can also click the comfort mode up on the infotainment screen and go through and change all of your stuff in there as well. Now what's great about the Limited comes standard with the remote start. So before I even got in today, obviously it's snowy, I fired it up, it had my heated seats and heated steering wheel going when I hopped in. Not only that, but when the weather gets nice again, you've also got ventilated seats for this model, which make it super comfortable. And actually, as a taller driver, I'm about 6'1", and I found that I have lots of headspace in here, and even where I was sitting comfortably, I could still fold that second row down if I needed to, and I had a decent amount of room in the back. You could comfortably put 4 adults in here just by the way that the second row is a little bit kind of lowered down. I found that it was more than adequate for a smaller kind of crossover SUV size vehicle. But then in the back, you do get a power liftgate back there, and you get lots of storage room. It's not the biggest in class, but for the most part, 99% of the time, I think it's gonna be more than enough. Like I said, you can fold that second row down if you need a little bit of extra storage for that 60-40 split, or even underneath the floor, there's quite a bit of room down there as well. But in the second row, you're also gonna have USB and USB-C charging, so if you got the kiddos back there, everyone's gonna be charged up and happy. Now, one of the other really cool things in here is the panoramic sunroof. It absolutely opens it up. It's especially with the black or the darker interiors, it makes it a little dark in here, but when you open up that sunshade, it really does help it out. I think the kids will also like it too if they're in the back. Now, from the driver's seat, like I said, the heated steering wheel is awesome. That's one of those features that once you have it, it's nearly impossible to give it back up. I love that it's so comfortable and quiet in here for a vehicle of this size. Sometimes these crossover SUVs, the seats aren't the best or it's hard to see out of them. Visibility is great in here, and I like all the kind of design heritage that runs in the vehicle. There's a little kind of retro Jeep on the windshield. On the back, there's some kind of cool Jeep designs. So they stick to their heritage of just building fun, easy to drive vehicles. Now, one other thing that's pretty neat in here is you get a fully digital gauge cluster. So you can click the button on the left side of the steering wheel, that pulls up 5 little menus there. You can go through and pretty much keep track of anything, whether it's your music, some of your MPG or trip computer stuff, or some of those safety settings. That is pretty cool as well and works very seamlessly once you get it figured out. Then on the other side of the steering wheel, that's where you've just got that adaptive cruise control. A few other little things, you do get a couple different selectable drive modes. So if you're looking at some of the other trim levels in the Jeep, if you're looking at the trail specific ones, you will also have additional kind of off-road modes there. But this one will keep the snow as well as a sand and mud mode, so that adapts some of the kind of traction control systems to help you out. So if it was really snowing and you kick that on, it will help you get the best possible bite and traction when you're out on the road. We didn't quite get enough snow today to try it out, but I'm sure with the Jeep 4x4 it works just fine. Now inside, the appointment on the cabin is really nice. There's kind of this silver material that runs through. There's kind of a leatherette on the dash here with the blue stitching. That runs into the seats as well and onto the shift boot here. It just feels like a shrunk down Grand Cherokee in some regard. It's still a lot of comfort. There's a lot of style in here, and I love the infotainment screen and how easy it is. Like I said, if you think 95 or 99% of the time, if you're driving to work, driving to the gym, the grocery store, the wireless Apple CarPlay in here is so awesome. Plus, you've also got built-in navigation. So if you go on that road trip and for some reason you lose cell signal on your phone, you can still use the nav to help get you those directions if you need them. But just even the regular infotainment system is easy. I mean, you can swipe down and I can pull up the rear view camera when I'm stopped here at the light. So I can see the truck behind me if I needed to. Kids left something in the driveway trying to figure out what's going on. That's pretty cool there as well. So overall, like I said, this one's priced in just a little over $39,000, but you're getting all of the equipment. So I think the average new car price in the US is about 48 grand right now. So this comes in almost 10 grand less than that, and you're getting heated ventilated seats, wireless Apple CarPlay, over 30 miles per the gallon, and 4x4 technology. I mean, if you need a vehicle just getting around town, even to get the kids in the back, I mean, this has more than enough room to do that. Comfort and I think pretty cool style on the exterior. So I think the Compass is definitely one to get out, take for a spin, and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 2025 Jeep Compass. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by anytime. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.